Binge and Purge. Binge and Purge. Binge and Purge.
Hello and welcome to Binge or Purge streaming reviews. I am your host, Dimo. My co-host is Joe Taylor. This is episode 34.
We're back, 34.
Yep, great. Yahoo.
And guess what? Christmas is almost upon us.
Christmas time is here, Joe. Can't you feel it?
You believe it? I got decorations up and stuff.
Yeah, you got like a red light. Is this for Christmas or are you a whorehouse?
A little of both. I got some good news for you, though. Well, it's good news for me, but I thought I'd share it. So I'm going on a Disney cruise that leaves the 20th of December. Mm-hmm. You know what else happens on the 20th of December?
I do.
What are you going to say?
The Rise of Skywalker, the final installment.
Yeah. So I'm going to get to watch that in the theater on the boat the day it comes out.
Oh, they're going to have it on the ship?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they got a big movie theater in there.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
That'll be fun.
That'll be fun. Now, I was going to ask you, because I heard something today that I did not know. There's another trilogy coming.
Supposedly, but we have no idea who's even making it. Because originally, the next trilogy coming was going to be by the Game of Thrones guys.
Oh.
And they got fired or left. Whatever. They're gone.
Uh-huh.
So no one really knows other than there's these dates that Disney has for when they want this trilogy to start. And that's all we know.
Well, they didn't put all that money into Star Wars Land in Anaheim to prop up Mark Hamill, probably. So there's got to be something coming, right?
You would think something good, but at this point, I have zero faith in it. Right now, they're putting all their chips in Disney Plus and those shows. When you say Star Wars, sure, there's the Rise of Skywalker, but it's all Baby Yoda.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
we're talking about that now?
Yeah, we're at the point now where we can discuss Baby Yoda.
My favorite character on TV.
It's everyone's favorite character.
Yeah. Now, did you know they kept it so tight that Mattel and the toy companies didn't even know about it? So there are no Baby Yoda plush dolls. Nothing. Right. You can order it, but it doesn't ship until May of next year.
It harkens back to the action figures of 1978 when they weren't ready. So kids would get like a gift certificate.
Oh, yeah.
Saying like, right. They'll be there next year, right?
That was Christmas 1977. What kind of Star Wars nerd are you?
Here we are again.
I mean, everybody wants a Baby Yoda.
Yeah.
But they're going to have to wait for it. Hey, I'd much rather have the surprise that we got than like, Baby Yoda under your Christmas tree.
Yeah.
Right? I can handle it. I would much more enjoy like turning on The Mandalorian in that first episode going like, Baby Yoda, oh my God.
Yeah. Well, we'll circle back and when that thing's over.
We already said it was a binge.
Yeah.
But when it completes, we'll give like a little recap.
And I heard we might have a special guest too when it concludes.
We're hoping to have a special guest.
So we'll tease that a little bit.
Yep.
All right, what do you got?
I have a new series. It's a documentary series on Netflix called The Movies That Made Us. Now, there's only 4 episodes, and they run from 45 to 51 minutes each. They're real quick. They're real fun. These are made by the guys that made the toys that made us. I don't know if anybody's watched that. Have you seen that at all?
I'm
Speaking
familiar
of
with
Star Wars toys.
Yeah, they do
their
Ninja
first
Turtles.
Transformers. That's a type of pick and choose thing. If you like that toy, I recommend going and watching the documentary on that toy.
It's nostalgia. They're cashing
It's nostalgia. So is this show. Mm-hmm. The 4 movies they do are Dirty Dancing, Home Alone, Ghostbusters, and Die Hard. So if any of those strike your fancy, I say watch. If you like Die Hard, watch this. If you like Ghostbusters, watch this. I mean, I watched all 4. I watched the first one, Dirty Dancing, with my girlfriend. I'm not a big Dirty Dancing fan. I'm just not. But it was a good doc. You do learn a bunch, but it's not like super in-depth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's very VH1 pop-up video-ish.
VH1 pop-up video, E! True Hollywood Story, VH1 Behind the Music.
Yeah.
You get a lot of cool things in it, like the fact that I had no idea that the house, all the interiors for the house in Home Alone were shot in a gymnasium in Chicago.
Oh, no kidding. I watched 2 of them. I watched the Ghostbusters one.
And the Die Hard one.
Yeah, and
right.
I loved the Ghostbusters one because it was like film school.
Uh-huh.
It was really a lot of how the movie was made, which I thought was really cool. The Die Hard one, I thought was a little more grating, a little more goofy. The narrator, for some reason, seemed... I don't know if it was a different narrator. If it
No,
was just-
same narrator, and that narrator's name is Donald Ian Black.
Okay, well...
And he's been getting some flack on the net for being kind of a cheeseball.
Okay, well, he really hammed it up on the Die Hard one. It was very... And
It
I
was.
thought the Ghostbusters one was... I didn't even notice it, so... I don't know. I had two different experiences, but cool show.
It's a binge, right? And so you can just choose, if you're like, I love that movie, just watch that one.
Yeah,
You
I'd
know?
say it's a binge, too.
I will say I do like how they, budget-wise, they cross over. Richard Edlund, for example, right? He used to work at Industrial Light and Magic, and then he left to work on Ghostbusters. And he happened to also do the special effects on Die Hard.
Oh, yeah.
You could interview him for 2 movies at once. Same with like William Atherton.
Horizontal integration.
Is that what that's called?
Yeah, it's like when Applebee's and you get a chicken salad sandwich and it's just the little nuggets that you'd get boneless wings.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that what that is? Mm-hmm. Thank you. I
on.
never would
Go
have
on.
made that comparison, but thank you. And then, do you know who William Atherton is?
Yeah, I saw that.
Great actor in the 80s. I think that guy should work more. I'm just saying, you never see him around anymore. I saw him like, oh my God, he's still alive.
He had a recurring role on the Sci-Fi Channel's Defiance and recently co-starred in the Netflix movie Clinical.
He played like a total like douchebag in 80s movies. He was great.
Okay. Well, this is a great series. It's on Netflix. It's called The Movies That Made Us.
It requires little commitment. You know, you can just, boom, 45 minutes. They're fun. They're not going to, demand much of you, the viewer. And if you're into these particular movies, definitely binge.
What was your favorite one out of the 4?
The Ghostbusters one.
Yeah. Anything with Harold Ramis. Even the
Even they don't interview. They do get enough. They don't get everybody. They get like pieces of people to interview. Like you don't get Bill Murray, right? But you do get Dan Aykroyd.
They barely got Bill Murray for Ghostbusters.
They barely got right.
That was really interesting.
That's fascinating. It's like, is he going to show up? And then he's there for call time, but I had no idea. But then you get Ivan Reitman. In the Home Alone one, you get Chris Columbus. You get enough people that made it so you don't feel like you're getting shortchanged on who was making the movie.
No, it wasn't a Ken Burns like stock photo documentary. It was really well put together.
Yep.
Okay, I've got something that is much more horrifying than that. It's called Bikram, Yogi, Guru, Predator. Now, this
Okay.
is not about Yogi Bear or Yogi Berra. This is about a yoga instructor who apparently is they call that a yogi. You ever
Sure.
do yoga?
I did Downward Dog once, and I could never get out of it.
Sounds about right. I do the Diamond Dallas Page one every once in a while. Anyway, this is like one of the first guys to bring this Eastern modality to white housewives in LA back in the 70s.
Yeah.
And
He's the hot yoga guy, right? Where you go in,
yeah.
it's like you're all sweating to death. I did that once. Okay.
Yeah.
Yoga poses are difficult enough if you've done enough yoga. I've done a little bit, not just downward dog. Okay. These poses are a challenge, but they're almost impossible when you've turned your body into a slip and slide. All right. I mean, it's like you want me to put my leg where, and you put it just, I don't know if it's the yoga or the heat that's like, shedding the pounds for all these people.
it's probably the
But I did it
110
once,
degree heat. Yeah.
and that was it for me. I was like, I don't need this. The sweat gets in your eyes. You're constantly looking for your towel, and then you're like, oh, that towel's soaked. Don't I have a dry towel? He goes, oh, didn't you bring 4 towels for this?
Yeah.
Like, it was ridiculous.
So you were not invited back.
Unfortunately, I bought like that package, like, 5 for a certain price, and it was a waste.
That's how they get you. Now,
Yep.
was it him that was teaching the class?
Oh, no, this has been farmed out for,
Yeah, but he still teaches.
he does, but I wouldn't go to, I have no idea. This was just, someplace on La Brea.
Okay. Well, whoever was teaching it probably learned how to teach it from him, because this documentary revolves. This is 86 minutes, by the way. It's on Netflix. This revolves mostly around him training the trainers,
Right.
and
And by
behold,
training, you mean assaulting them?
teaching them the modality of yoga. But yes, also sexual assault, rampant. Apparently, he was a real creep.
Yeah.
Now, if you're telling me that there's a documentary about a creep who wears a Speedo to work, I would have said, Ryan Lochte's dead already. But this is about a guy that teaches hot yoga, and there's a bunch of hot chicks, and he tries to make out and fool around with a lot of them. Now, this has a 94% with the critics on Rotten Tomatoes. I'm going to guess what the audience score is.
5.
No, that's super extreme. Why would you guess?
I don't know.
57.
57. Well, it had
Half.
5 in it.
Yeah, so it's half. So I don't know. It seems like one of those things that it tries to be very provocative. It doesn't quite have the goods.
It sounds like you're leaning in the 57% yourself.
I just thought it was a lot of just a lot of nothing.
All right. Purge, yes?
Yeah, Purge him. He's a creep for
Right,
sure.
for sure.
But the documentary doesn't really get us anywhere.
Okay.
So Purge.
It's a double purge.
Yeah.
Purge him, purge the doc.
Yep.
All right, moving on. I have a comedy special on Netflix by Mike Bribiglia called The New One.
Wait, real quick.
Yeah.
Comedy special or one-man show?
Well, that's up to the viewer to decide. I'm saying it's a one-man show. I think you're right.
Well, he's saying it's a one-man show.
He is. It's still comedy, though.
Okay, what's the difference to you between the two things?
Storytelling. I mean, he's going out to, he's not doing stand-up. It's a one-man show. He has a story to tell about becoming a father. That's the gist of this.
Okay, here's what I think the difference is. It is a very well put together, continuous hour and however many minutes.
Hour and 25 minutes.
It's a very continuous story.
Yep.
To me, the difference is two things. One, he has a Britney Spears microphone instead of a handheld microphone.
Good point. That's a good point.
And the second thing is there's props 48 minutes into it.
It's 58 minutes into it.
Other
Yes.
than that, it's just a stand-up special, man. Why do you got to call it a Broadway show? Maybe he's trying to win a Tony or something.
Because he's performing it on Broadway.
Yeah. What? Okay.
That's where it's being recorded, on Broadway.
Yeah, and he did it out here for like a month and a half, too.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's
here.
taking it all over the country.
But I don't think an LA comic would do this. Be like, hey, I have a one-man show, and it's just an hour and 20 minutes of stand-up.
How many comedians do you know that are doing one-man shows and not just doing their stand-up special? Right? I mean, it's just none, right?
That's my point. So why?
Yeah.
It's a little pretentious, I think.
So you have a problem with him saying it's a one-man show, or you have a problem with me saying it's a stand-up special?
No, I have a problem with him saying it's a one-man show.
But it is a one-man show. It's not
Sure, so-
more than it is a stand-up special.
Your 7 minutes at the Improv is a one-man show, technically.
Oh, my
right?
God. All right. Good points. Good points.
But I still like it. But go ahead. Go on.
No, it's good.
Yeah.
It's good. He's very likable. Now, if
Yeah.
you like him, definitely binge this. If you've never seen him before, I'd say this is a good entryway into seeing what he's all about. Because he's pretty open about the type of person that he is, his history. I mean, he gets very personal. And, man, he gets those jokes in.
Yeah.
Every other line is a punch.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's well written. And of course, this is what we talk about. We've compared some other stand-up specials to like how loose they feel, how written they are. This is written.
It's a monologue.
It's a monologue. Like you said, he ain't got the mic. He's got the, the earpiece with the little, like the TED Talk thing.
Yeah, right.
So, but he works the stage, and it's a tight show that he really takes you on a trip of what it's going to be like for someone who didn't want to be a father, put all this effort into trying to be a father, and then what that led to.
Yeah. I mean, it was very funny. It brought up a lot of mixed feelings for me. I mean, there was some kind of sad or bummer, or like frustrating parts about his story, not about him, but about his story. I wanted to say real quick, if you aren't familiar with him at all, I would start with his movie Sleepwalk with Me.
Oh yeah,
One of
that's
my
a great.
favorite-
That's a good movie.
Yeah, one of my favorite indie movies. I think it was the first thing he really did. Of course, he did Don't Think Twice a little bit more recently, but and he was on Orange is the New Black. But this is, I think, the best out of his. Now, he has two things he calls stand-up specials before this. They're about an hour. This one, if you combine all three of them, this one is my favorite out of the three.
Now, I haven't watched a lot of his stuff. I did watch Sleepwalk with Me, and I really enjoyed that. And I'd seen him, here and there on late night shows, and he's always been a good guest. But I hadn't watched one of his specials in its entirety. And I don't know who could watch this and be like, "Oh man, he sucks." Who are you if you think he's not good?
Yeah,
You know?
he's like a cross between Jim Gaffigan and maybe he's just a lot like Jim Gaffigan. I don't know.
He does have Jim Gaffigan qualities. He's got that like aw shucks likability.
Yeah.
He's not going to turn you off in any way. He can talk about dirty subjects while keeping it clean.
Yeah.
It's a fine line that he rides.
Yeah, and when he gets on a joke, he tags it 3 or 4 or 5 times, which it's just really cool.
Yeah, and he keeps it simple. You know, you listen, you're like, the jokes are not, you're like, oh yeah, it's so obvious, but not. You know what I mean? It's like the way he writes it, they're surprising, but then you're like, oh, why didn't I think of that?
Yeah.
You know, because they're so smart. It's a major binge if you want a nice, fun story about someone's life and where he is and the type of comedian that he is and the type of father that he is that pretty much anybody can relate to.
Yeah. Okay, so we've got one last thing. Let's recap real quick. You say binge the movies that made us on Netflix.
Yeah, nothing to it. Go for it.
Yeah, it's fun, especially if you like any of those 4 things a lot.
Yeah, pick your ones and watch them.
Joe said the Bikram yoga documentary was festival specific and not worth watching.
Seems
in your own home.
contentious. I don't know.
It's just a lot of it's like if there was an Aziz Ansari documentary.
Just about that one incident?
Yeah, it's a lot of that.
Okay.
Then you said the Mike Bribiglia thing, and I said the same thing. The new one on Netflix. It was a Broadway show. It came out here for like a month and a half. Now it's on Netflix. It's great. Binge for sure.
Absolutely.
Okay, now we're going to get dark.
I didn't get a chance to watch this. I'm leaving it all up to you.
Okay.
All right?
A little backstory.
Yeah.
Noah Baumbach, Greta Gerwig, power couple for a long time.
Yep.
Did Frances Ha, some other stuff.
They've done tons of stuff together.
Yeah. They grew up with the Duplass brothers.
Oh, this is right up your alley.
Right up my alley. Have you seen Baghead? She's in Baghead, too.
No.
I always thought he held her back. So they, I think, split up a few years ago. She went and made Lady Bird, which was...
And now she has Little Women that just came out.
Yeah. So she's doing fine. So this is one of the first things that he's done, at least that I'm aware of, that was like his thing. Noah Baumbach. This is called Marriage Story. It's a Netflix original. It was out in theaters for a while for awards purposes. We've talked about that whole thing. This stars Adam Driver, who you might recognize from the spaceship.
The spaceship movie, Star Trek.
Yeah, it's like Game of Thrones. It meets Star Trek. And Scarlett Johansson.
I've heard of her too.
Laura Dern, also in the Spaceship Wars.
Yep.
There's some other notable casts in here too, which we'll get to in a second. Marriage Story. It's about a couple who gets married young, has a kid, grows apart. He is a theater director. She is an actress. She wants to go back to LA to get back into TV and movies where she started. He wants to stay in New York and do plays. And there's a kid in the mix. He's like 8 or something. This is painful to watch. I'm not saying it's a bad movie because it's a good movie, but it's tough. Now, I don't have any estranged children that you know about, but
That you know about.
yeah, well, that anyone does. This is rough, man. This is very right on the nose. A lot of difficult dialogue to listen to. It's an emotional roller coaster. Very good. Adam Driver is by far the best part of this movie. Scarlett Johansson, you hate her by the end of this movie. Not as an actress, but her character. For me anyway, I watched it with a buddy who is married and has a couple of young kids, and he was like, I can't watch any more of her, even though she's very good. Laura Dern plays her divorce attorney. Chills. She's so just infuriating.
Laura Dern is crushing it right now.
Yeah.
I think she's like peaking as an actress.
Yeah, she's incredible.
Her performance in the second season of Big Little Lies on HBO was fantastic.
Yeah.
In fact, I think her performance is the only reason to watch the second season of Big Little Lies. She's so gonzo in it. She's fantastic.
Yeah.
But she works a lot now, and it's all good stuff coming out of her.
She's awesome in it. And when I say, we've talked about this before, but when you watch a movie and you're like, I hate that person, it really means that the actor or actress is really hitting it out of the park.
Yep.
So she nails that. Ray Liotta is in it.
Ray Liotta.
Ray Liotta.
Yeah. You said Liotta. Just saying.
It's back how they pronounce it.
He's going to come and beat you.
I'm
going to beat you, Karen.
He's going to stab me with his eyeliner.
And his Chantix. He's going to chew up some Chantix and regurgitate it into your mouth.
He had so much eyeliner on, I thought he was going to be flipping houses.
He's a mess physically.
Do you get that reference?
What's that?
The lady that flips the houses that wears all the eyeliner?
I don't watch any of that house flipping stuff, man.
Okay, well, you can either cut that out or leave it. We'll see. Alan Alda.
Oh, yeah.
Very funny, not in it for very long. And the kid that's in it is good. Everyone in this is great. Here's the problem I have with this. It's 2 hours and 12 minutes. Mm-hmm. Should have been about hour 48. There are about 3 scenes I can think of right now that were about 8 minutes that should have been about 4. So there you go. He really misses the exit on some of his scenes. There's one in particular where Scarlett Johansson is talking to the divorce lawyer the first time they meet, and it's got to be 8 to 10 minutes long. It's just a monologue. I'm sure he does it on purpose. There's a lot of very purposeful choices, as a director, and some cool cinematography and stuff. It's tough to watch, man. I mean, it's not a fun watch. It's not fun to, you don't want to watch this on date night.
Right.
That's for sure.
Oh, no.
You don't want to watch this on your supervised custody
I
night.
was going to watch this today with my girlfriend, and she was like, no. And I was like, really? She goes, yeah, it looks super depressing.
It is.
Yeah.
The way that he chooses to end it is, I didn't like. There was a moment, you remember in, I don't want to spoil anything. Remember in Manchester by the Sea, there's a moment where Casey Affleck kind of snaps.
Yep.
And that kind of makes the whole...
That's his entire performance.
Yep.
That's his Oscar scene right there.
Yeah, there's one.
Yep.
There's one or two of those in this.
By Adam Driver?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Now, I get to vote in the Independent Spirit Awards.
You do?
Yeah. This was nominated for Best Screenplay and Best Feature. Adam Driver not nominated. Scarlett Johansson, Laura Dern not nominated. It did receive an award for ensemble production or something, the Robert Altman Award.
Uh-huh.
So as a group, everyone involved with it is getting a special recognition. But I thought he was really the best part. The screenplay was way too many pages, and the directing was a little bit gratuitous and self-indulgent. But it's great if you... I don't know why you'd want to watch this unless you just love independent films, which I do.
Yep.
For me, it's a binge. Now, look, this is 96 with the critics, 83 with the audience.
Not bad.
Pretty good.
It's pretty good.
For
an audience, if you're saying the movie's so dismal and it's getting an 83 from the audience, that's pretty good.
Yeah. If you like good acting, this is for you.
It's not a big screen extravaganza in any way. I didn't think
No.
it would be. And this is the type of thing where I go, should I see it in the theater?
No,
and then I was
no.
I was like, wait a minute, that's a Netflixer all the way.
Yeah.
I want to mention, this is based on his relationship with Jennifer Jason Leigh, not with Greta Gerwig.
No,
So you know that.
No, I did not know that.
You did not know that.
I didn't read anything about it until I watched it. I didn't know that there was any sort of...
He had a relationship with her long ago, and apparently that's what this movie is about, not Greta Gerwig.
Okay. And
I understand it.
Okay, I believe that. And when I spoke about his relationship with Greta Gerwig, I don't know if they were even an item, but they were
an item.
Okay, well, I was speaking mostly about their creative collaboration, which was a disaster more so than this relationship, be it real or imagined. So that makes sense what you're saying. Anyway, it's a great movie. I don't know if you want to watch it or not.
All right, I don't know if I'm going to watch it either. I'm like, I don't know.
You should watch it. You'd like it.
Here's the thing. At some point, I watch every single movie that's up for Best Picture. Mm-hmm. So if it does get chosen for Best Picture, I'm going to watch it. And what's crazy, think about it, if it is, and I'm sure The Irishman is up for Best Picture, that's 2 Netflix movies that are going to be up.
Oh, Uncut Gems might be in there too.
But that's not a Netflixer.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. That's on another streaming service, no?
I believe it's a Netflix original.
Well, regardless...
Yeah, it's Adam Sandler. He's got the Netflix exclusive thing. It's got to be.
Uncut Gems is not a Netflix movie. It was produced by A24 and is not part of Adam Sandler's exclusive deal.
This did really well at Telluride, TIFF, which so did the Bikram yoga thing was a TIFF selection too.
Oh, okay.
So this is a very film festival-y type of thing.
Well, yeah.
But if you like good acting, and I know you do.
I do enjoy good acting. I
not doing it, but watching it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Touché, my friend.
Yeah.
Touché.
Hey, same here. If you like indie films, you like good acting, it's a binge. Just know what you're getting into.
Right.
If you sit down to watch this, it's a little tough.
We're big boys. We can handle it. Right?
Yeah.
I'm talking about myself. I don't know.
I'm a big boy.
I'm a big boy now. Mm-hmm. All right, sorry.
Can we go home?
Yeah, man, let's get out of here. But before we go, we did a little research, and it turns out we're on more streaming services for our podcast than we thought. We're basically everywhere now.
Anywhere that has podcasts, you type in Binge or Purge, will come up.
We're going to show up, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And we're, like I said, we're on YouTube. So thank you to our 8 subscribers.
Yeah.
We appreciate it. Keep it coming. Keep listening. Thank you so much.
Hey, everyone watches Netflix and Hulu and Amazon. Tell your friends. Everyone has a commute. Tell them about us. Check it out. We might recommend something you haven't heard of and would really like.
That's why we're here.
That's why we're here.
As always, we want to thank Just the Facts. You can follow Just the Facts on Instagram and Twitter at the Jessica Greer.
Thank you, Jess.
So for Joe Taylor, my name is Dimo. This has been Binge or Purge Streaming Reviews. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.